Hey everyone, so welcome back to BeamNG. It's been a while since I've just done a video on BeamNG, but I figured with the newest update that came out not too long ago, it's time that I made a new daily driver in Beam. Now I made this custom 200BX in a video a long time ago. Forgot what I titled that, but I think it had something to do with the update as well. I kind of just went over a bunch of different things in the update. This time, however, I'm just going to focus on building and making a good car to replace this 200BX. Although I do like this car a lot, I think it's time that I made something different. The main reason for that is I drive this car very, very often in Beam. It is probably my most driven car just because it's the one I always spawn with. And it's great for roads, and it's great for, well, what it is. It's a reasonably fast car, it doesn't break too easily, it does have a good amount of power for Beam, and this is also the new small island map as well. But see, with the introduction of this map, we also got a new car, and when I was testing it, I really liked it. I'm a big fan of these smaller, I guess, Japanese style cars. This new car is a French one, apparently, but it's still a lot of fun, and I want to give it a shot. So let's do this quick tunnel run here, and then we'll find a good spot to start working on it. Alright, we've come to a pretty decent location. This is the Migratory Bird Research Center. Let's go ahead and make a car. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I've saved my old car, just made sure to keep it in the files just in case this one doesn't work out, although I'm thinking it will. This is something that if it's reasonably successful and people are interested, I want to keep doing a bit more of. But this is the new car here. It has a lot of different versions, including an SUV version, but we're going to start off with the most basic one, specifically the non-diesel one, just to make it easier in terms of changing parts. But this is the car I want right here. And minor spoilers, we're probably going to be getting something similar to what this is, but I just think it's so cool that they've put out another car that has so many different options. Oh yeah, what I've done this time, instead of like last time where it took a while to load it in, I've decided to start off with the physics paused. So the changes won't appear necessarily right away, but we should be able to see them when I unpause it, just like this. So this is what the car looks like starting off. Very basic wheels, basic overall as you would suspect, and then on the inside it's nice and modern. I really like the BeamNG interiors. I don't know if many people actually use them, but I like this a lot. So automation isn't the only game that you can modify cars in. This one you can do quite a bit as well. Just for example, let's look at the engines. It's got a reasonable amount of options here. We have a 1.2 liter inline 3, we've got a diesel engine, a 1.6 liter inline 4, another diesel engine, a bigger inline 4, an inline 5, and an electric motor. So we could potentially make this thing electric if we wanted to, or diesel or gas. Just tons of options. And then as always, we've got turbochargers, and then based on the engines we can have superchargers and stuff as well, most likely. I'm not sure, we'll have to test that. But there are quite a few other options as well, especially when it comes to different looks and things, so we can kind of mix and match and come up with stuff that looks cool. Also, there are a bunch of different interior options, including switching it over completely to a different one, and then we can see what that looks like if we unpause. There we go, that's a different interior right there. Looks like we've gone for the red leather interior. It's a little bit weird, but yeah, we'll kind of decide what works as we go forwards. Okay, what I want to do first here is start off by driving the car in its stock form, and then we're going to return here and then drive it once we get a tuned inline 5 in there, because I'm pretty sure that's the option I'm going to go for. It's possible as well that I do go half electric or something like that. We'll have to see how this goes. Alright, so it sounds like an inline 3. It's not particularly big or intimidating. Looking on the inside, it's kind of hard to see it, but there's the engine right there. It doesn't sound too good, admittedly. We're basically just driving the cheapest version of this car that there is, the manual basic edition, except I did put in a leather interior, so I guess that's not really helping things. So this engine very clearly doesn't make much power, but it does move the car reasonably well. Like, it actually, it drives better than most of my cars in automation. That's probably just because it's a Beam car if nothing else, but I'm going to try to find a big flat area because I've got an idea of something that we can do here to kind of give this a little bit more context. I want to do a weight comparison between this and our new build at some point. Let's go ahead and swap this car for a scale so you can see how much it weighs as we move forward here. And I was going to go without physics, but I think I'm actually going to leave the physics on so we can see it update live. It'll be kind of cool. Alright, so this is kind of interesting. We're clocking in at 1,385 kilos. That is 3,054 pounds. This is just the absolute basic car. This is the one that I was driving before, the inline 3. So let's see how much it changes as we start to change different interior pieces. We're going to do wheels, engine, all that good stuff. It's taking a while, I know, but the setup is worth it. Okay, so it does this cool thing where it highlights all the different parts of the car as you go over them, just in case you didn't know what a hood was. But for our purposes, what we're going to be doing is sort of like the same style of build that I did on the last car. Obviously, this 1.3 liter engine is not going to do it. I want to go for the 2.5 inline 5, which immediately is going to raise up our weight by a significant amount. Obviously, the stock long block is not going to do. We're going for a stage 3 long block here, and the stock turbo is not going to do either. We want a stage 3 turbo. As long as that isn't going to screw up the cooling too much, it should work out fine for us. What I'm going to do as well is kind of just put in all the backing stuff that we need for that, so we'll have a stage 3 ECU, and also we're going to need some good exhaust as well. Probably the race exhaust is going to work out better for us, which thankfully has lowered our weight by a little bit. And I'm going to delete the speed limiter as well. We don't really need that. But the engine itself is looking pretty decent. This is going to be a fast car when we're done with it. 6-speed manual is probably not going to work out for us. Let's go ahead with a sequential. And this time around, instead of going front-wheel drive, my last car was rear-wheel drive, I'm actually going to go ahead and do a rally all-wheel drive transfer case, and we'll be putting in a limited slip in the front and in the back as well if we can do it. Now our final drive ratio, I'm probably not going to mess with that. We'll probably just put it as race adjustable, and then if we need to we can adjust that as necessary. Okay, that's it for the engine. The look of the car hasn't changed. It still looks stock on the inside and the outside, but underneath it's totally different. That is a much bigger engine than was in there before, and we've gained a bunch of weight as well. Now there are a bunch of other options up here in the body section. I'm not going to mess with any of those yet. We will get to them when we get to them, but the first couple things that I want to do are all just driveline worthy. Basically, we need to make sure that we get the good stuff in here. Anti-lock braking system, probably important. We don't really need stability control. We're probably not going to need traction control. I think I'm just going to turn that off, and then we'll just turn off drive modes as well. It'll just be ABS on there. So in an effort to get rid of some weight, I'm going to actually go up to carbon fiber body colored roof. That should hopefully drop the weight by a decent amount. Okay, apparently not. Oh, we do have the option to go for wide body quarter panels, which would make things a lot more interesting on the back. It doesn't really match the rest of the look right now, but we'll get there when we get there. I do want to put like a bit of a rally look on this car. So this car has a couple cool options, like lightweight tailgate glass. We do also have the option to mess with the trunk style a little bit, but I kind of like the way this looks, and I didn't really like any of the spoiler options either. So I've just gone ahead and put wide body pieces on all of the different corners. Front and rear suspension we definitely need to work on, especially because we're not even really all-wheel drive yet. But yeah, everything else should be as light as it can get for now. Okay, let's do front suspension first. We have independent just to start off with, but what I'm probably thinking, let's go for the wide track stuff and see what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and put race components in here. We're kind of going rally and race at the same time, but, well, might as well do both, right? If this doesn't work out for off-road, then we'll change it up a little bit. And as you would guess, I'm just going to go for the best possible brakes. We've got race brake discs, we've got race brake pads, quick ratio steering, we don't need power steering with this, and then the front wheels. Now this is very important. So front wheels, I haven't actually chosen what wheels I want to use yet, but one thing that Beam has that is excellent is we can use a ton of different versions of wheels that are on different cars, including using 200BX wheels if we wanted to. So if we want extremely wide wheels, we can go here, 15 by 12 front wheels. These are probably drag racing. Let's take a look at what these look like when they get loaded in. Oh yeah, no, those are literal drag racing wheels, and they stick out quite far from the side of the car. Goodness. Well, if we're going front wheel drive drag racing, these would be the ones I'd go with just because they're massive. But for the sake of this build, I think that's gonna be a little bit too much. Okay, I'm having a hard time choosing wheels, and also the car has slowly been going into the ground here, so I'm just gonna quickly attempt to drive it off. Apparently not. Okay, I think I've got the wheels that I'm gonna go with. I like these ones quite a bit, and we'll go with the, oh man, the rally tires would be great one day. Oh man, I drive on the pavement a lot, so I think I'm just gonna stick with race, and then if we need to, we'll switch them up. But that is basically what it's gonna look like. We'll just have to do the back end as well now. So the back end obviously needs some work. I've gone ahead and gone with the wide track independent rear so it matches the front, and of course we need that rear limited slip diff in there, otherwise we're not actually going to have any rear drive. Of course we need to get the drive shaft in there too. Okay, there's the rear drive shaft right there, limited slip is in, and race adjustable is exactly what I'm looking for. Also, the wheels, let's put them over to the ones that I've got on the front end. Alright, nice, that's the car in its current state. The exterior, not really that modified, still just wide-bodied. We're going to have some work to do on the bumpers and stuff to get it to match up, but that's pretty much the entire underside of it, and we still have a lot of weight to lose. That was quite a bit of weight gain just in components there. And I decided to turn off the driving safety stuff because, well, we don't really need it. Okay, what I'm going to do here is, we have lightweight glass in every door, so I'm going to try and change that over. And then I think I'm going to change out the interior door panels as well, so there's just nothing there. But we'll put on the race flares just to fill up that little space. Change of plans, basically I messed things up and I didn't check this, but we can put on wide body doors, so that's kind of what I've gone with. And we're just going to go without the interior panels, just to keep the weight a little bit further down. It's not a big deal because the back seat's not going to be used in this car. And then in the front right door and the front left door as well, we're just going to go lightweight stuff. With no interior panels, and we'll leave the mirrors on because, well, we want to be able to see. Alright, that was pretty easy. Let's go for a lightweight interior as well. Alright, with a lightweight interior, things are going to be looking a little bit different in there. We're still over the weight that we were, but I mean, this car is now completely all-wheel drive, much bigger engine, much more power. It's totally different than it used to be. Okay, I'm going to put a strut bar on it, and I'll put some chassis stiffening on it. That's probably going to up the weight a little bit, but it'll make it just a little bit stiffer, hopefully. And side skirts and stuff, I don't know. Oh, that looks pretty nice, although it doesn't quite match up with the other wide body pieces that we have here. I'm going to confirm that the rear seats are not going to be used at all by taking them out. And we'll leave the passenger seat in there, and the driver's seat as well. But let's put them into, let's make them racing seats. Why not? We can choose to take out the racing seat on the right side or the left side if we don't want it. But either way, this is fine. Let's give it a roll cage. I believe my last car had one. We're unfortunately getting up in the weight again, but we were down there for a bit. And obviously this is incredibly important. Ultra high performance radiator, otherwise we're not going to be able to keep this thing cool. And of course, all lightened stuff in the glass area. We might actually get this car down to the same weight that it used to be. Alright, I think I've got most of the basic stuff done here. The car itself is looking pretty decent. Obviously it still needs some tuning, it still needs the back bumpers and stuff to be redone. Let's go ahead and just switch these up here. Oh, the race one looks sweet. My goodness. That's probably a little bit too aggressive. Let's try rally. Okay, it's basically the same. Oh no, that's the front bumper I want right there. The S version with a nice diffuser. It's open there. It looks really nice. I think that's going to work out just right for us. And also, why don't we take out the front grille? Ooh, never mind, I found a better front grille right here. I'm gonna go with that one instead. Okay, the exhaust completely misses, which is kind of funny. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. Alright, I think this car is fully customized. I think it's probably time we put a plate on it. Let's name it appropriately. Oh yeah, that's it right there. And our total weight is actually about 20 kilos lighter than it used to be, with a ton more power and a lot more style. But we're obviously not done with it yet. Let's go ahead and change the color. Okay, this red makes it a little bit easier to see stuff, but man oh man, this is a good looking car now. I think I've done something right here. Alright, I think I'm done with it. We're not going to put any badges on the car, we'll just leave it as is. Overall, it's looking pretty darn good, and again, it's underweight from what we used to be, so that should be fine. I've gone ahead and saved it, and to top this all off, I'm going to overwrite my default. this is it. Well, it's taken me quite a while to put this together, but I'm pretty darn happy with the results. The new daily is here, and I haven't tuned it at all, so we have some work to do. And I'm also kind of thinking those bumpers need to be changed, because it doesn't quite line up there. It's a little bit off on the wide body. You know what? Maybe we can make a few small tweaks. I'll get back to you after I've fixed some things. Alright, it's taken me a while once again, but I've come up with something a little bit better. I've gone for tuned exhaust instead of race exhaust, which means we do actually have exhaust sticking out of the right place, and I managed to find one of these that fit with the side skirts, so I'm feeling good about that. And overall, I think the car's looking pretty darn good. Let me know what you think. Maybe I can try and do a couple more of these builds over the coming weeks. Doesn't have to be as spaced out as the last one was. But here we go, this car on race tires in the new map, which is virtually all dirt. This can only go well. Yeah, this thing is not set up for rally in the slightest, but it's also got way more power than it did before. So I'm immediately experiencing some changes in the last time I was driving it. No assist is also really fun. I'm kind of glad that I've done that. But what I want to do is kind of do a circle of the map. So let's get down onto the road over here, see if I can't just do that. Oh yeah, of course, it has to brake really well too, because it's BeamNG. Alright, let's drive around the map just once, just to see what this thing can do. I'm sure it's ridiculously fast in a straight line. Also, really short gears, which I guess is what you would suspect. So far, no issues at all, except for my driving. I'm gonna have to slow things down here. The thing is that my last car was pretty reasonable in terms of performance. This one is ridiculous. Stage 3 everything? Kinda nuts. I think the good part about this car is it's flexible in terms of what kind of style you want to go for, like if you want to go rally or race or whatever it happens to be. This so far is doing pretty good though. On these windy roads. It's just my attempts to be careful here that are kind of bringing it down. This sequential gearbox is really fast, and there's that place where we started at the beginning, the Migratory Bird Research Center. Alright, we'll just roll with a bit of damage there. Spun the car around, maybe did a bit of a roll. No big deal. Oh, this thing can break it free on any terrain here. Just skidding right through the tunnel. Losing things that don't really matter. Not a big deal. Okay, the car kind of forced me to go down to the beach, so that's what we're going to be doing. Yeah, I'm going to immediately get off the beach, though. Race cars like this are not made for the beach, that's for sure. What I might end up doing at some point is doing a time trials video, similar to my speed running videos, but for those videos you actually are allowed to make a car, so I've kind of got a car pre-made for it. Which would be pretty cool to use if I can try and break some records in BeamNG with this thing. Although you all know that's probably not going to happen. My driving is not exactly spectacular. Alright, let's see how good we can do for some of these all-wheel drive burnouts. Or just lose the back bumper, that's okay too. I mean, it looks kind of cool without the back bumper on there. We probably could have just gotten rid of that for weight reduction reasons. Probably wouldn't help aerodynamically, but no big deal. Alright, let's see. Rev it up, and yeah, it'll do an all-wheel burnout without any trouble. 2.5 liters of fury here, people. But it is an inline 5, so it's pretty unique. Not a thing that you see every day. Except maybe in a Volvo. Heck, we could use the same chassis and convert this thing to diesel if we really wanted to. Now that could be fun. Also, we could go for a potential front electric motor. And then maybe even rear, I'm not sure, I didn't actually check that. Oh yeah, it was a good time to say I added a skid plate. I figured we'd probably need it. Lightened interior is looking pretty good. I decided to make it the sport trim, but it doesn't matter because there is no trim, and it's also all carbon fiber. I also made it so that the gauges, you can see them. Okay, we're zooming things in here, but you can see them here. It goes up to 8,000 RPM, and it also happens to go up to 320 kilometers an hour, which is a bit optimistic. However, we shall see. I like that you can hear the whine of the turbo in this thing. It's really cool. Okay, just a quick reset so I can get a hang of it in first-person view. It does not like being low in the gears either. It demands to be shifted. And once again, we're back in the same place. Doing the same thing. Well, this is kind of what you would expect from the first day trying to drive something really powerful. But hey, I think it's been good. So yeah, if you want to see more builds in BeamNG, let me know. I do like making these cars. I kind of like red cars, I don't know. Apparently that's just a thing now, but I like this color. so I figured I'd go ahead and make something using it. But yeah, this is going to be my new default car in Beam for the next while. Possibly less time if I decide to make another one. But yeah, my 200BX still lives on. It's not a bad car. Probably the best car I've built in Beam. This one is just outrageous and incredibly hard to drive because of it. But hey, still, I'm glad I did it anyways. This channel is supported by viewers like you. We have Canadian Steel, Overlord, Dr. Ivo, That Rice-Stood Explorer, QT Bear, Terry Williams, The Most Random Person, Sick D Cars and Stuff, Boris Ramirez, Daniel, Justin, and Jacob. Thank you all for your support.